The great Indian epic of the Mahabharata may have many characters. When we think of the female characters in the epic, the names of Kunti, Draupadi, and Gandhari come to our mind. In this dramatized video, a lesser-known female character, Hidimbi, will be portrayed. Although she appears very briefly in the epic, her story will always be remembered as the one who loved her husband, but was destined to meet him very rarely, and whose son, Ghatotkacha, sacrificed his life for the Pandavas in the Kurukshetra war. Though she may not be a very popular or revered character in the Mahabharata, she is, however, one character in whose name a cave temple has been built in Manali, Himachal Pradesh.
I am probably one of the last names anyone thinks of whenever the Mahabharata is discussed. Never is my name considered when one talks about or eulogizes the female characters in the Mahabharata. It is almost as if I did not exist at all. I am degradingly referred to as the Rakshasi who transformed herself into a fair, beautiful damsel and enticed the strong and powerful Bhima. Yes, I let down my own brother and allowed him to be killed by Bhima when he attacked Bhima and the rest of the Pandavas in the forest. I suppose I was blinded by my lust and love at first sight for Bhima. I requested Kunti to accept me as her daughter-in-law by making me Bhima's wife. She did agree reluctantly, but that was subject to many conditions. I had to promise her that I would not touch meat ever again. I was also required to allow Bhima to return to his brothers and mother each day before sunset. Last and most difficult for any wife, I had to give my consent to let Bhima leave me when I gave birth to a son. I fainted after making these promises. Shortly afterwards, I became pregnant, and while all women are celebrated in their pregnancy, I was refused that bliss. I delivered a powerful baby boy, the son of Bhima, whom we proudly named Ghatotkacha, as his head was shaped like a pot. Kunti saw Bhima enjoy marriage and fatherhood with a Rakshasa family. She feared this attachment to us coupled with forest life would distance Bhima from his brothers and her. She called for Bhima and said that it was time to leave us as their destiny required them to move on. I was helpless and I could not resist, as I had to honor the promise I gave Kunti. As we were about to part ways, our son Ghatotkacha, though an infant, said to his father as though he were fully grown, "Whenever you need me, father, think of me, and I shall come to you." It was as though I had been used by the Pandavas to gain a strong warrior who would prove useful during the war with Kauravas. I was utilized by the Pandavas when they were powerless in the forest and then discarded as they moved on. Why were they so heartless? Despite being aware of this, I never complained or bickered. My son and I were left alone in the forest. I single-handedly raised my son without the love and care of his father. I molded him to be a brave warrior and dutiful son who made the ultimate sacrifice for the Pandavas in the epic war to come. I groomed and taught him all known lessons about warfare. I taught him the Dhanur Vidya and Maya Vidya. He could be invisible and in a moment be able to kill 1,000 enemies. He would be second to none. When the Kurukshetra war started, Pandavas suddenly remembered my son and wanted him to fight for them. My son kept his word readily and plunged into the war without a second thought. Due to Krishna's clever maneuvers to save Arjuna, my son was made a sacrificial pawn. Karna had planned to use Shakti against Arjuna. Krishna knew too well that Arjuna would not be able to counter Shakti, and to save Arjuna, my son was made to die. Why did they choose my son to die to save Arjuna? My abundant and unlimited power and strength was indeed of no use to me. Fate was extremely cruel to me. When my son's body was taken to the cremation grounds of the royal family members, his body was denied access, much to my shock. None of the Pandavas showed any kindness to give my son access to the cremation grounds, though he fought and died for them. He did not get the respect or regard normally meted out to a great soldier. Ultimately, his body had to be brought to my forest for his last rites. Who is there for me now? I lost my brother, I lost my son, and though my husband is alive, I know he will never let me be part of his life or even come to meet me or console me. I have nowhere to go. I will now immerse myself in solitary confinement, meditating in my beloved forest. The forest that has always stood by me and embraced me with its warm, comforting, and welcoming arms.